LoreWarrior Online, C-DVA-O, Deva. Overview. The Deva Omnimech, its name derived from Hindu and Buddhist mythologies, a reference to minor angels or divinities, is strikingly similar to its fellow heavyweight celestial, the Grigori, so much so that the reason for its design is questionable. The dominant theory, supported by this unit's constant deployment in close concert with Grigori's, maintains that the two models were deliberately built to function as a pair. Akin to the design philosophies that produce things like the hammer and anvil mechs, one observer likened the coordination between these machines to that of identical twins, joined together by some intangible spiritual link. Capabilities. Matching its lighter brother in mobility but sporting thicker armour and a heavy-duty gyro system, the 70-ton Deva has the ruggedness to act as the close combat fighter, while the Grigori provides standoff fire support. With little more than a ton of extra space for weapons than the Grigori, the Deva focuses more on direct-fire weapons over missiles in all 6 of its known standard configurations. As a result, this machine makes for an excellent brawler, but its firepower can be felt at almost any range, enabling its mech warrior to pick and choose where and how close the Deva needs to get to deliver its attacks. Deployment. As mentioned above, the Deva is particularly common in any formation that also includes a Grigori, and so it is dominantly seen among the Word of Blake's most elite troops, including the Mani Domini. Even though Grigoris tend to appear in great numbers, it is rare to see any operating in a formation that does not include at least one Deva. Notable mech warriors: Presenter 7th Seth Smith Solomon, commander of the Word of Blake 7th Division's Bells of Faith 3rd Lambda, which fought to defend Mars against the Wolf Dragoons' incursion of 3067, Smith Solomon was badly wounded trying to hold back the remnants of Zeta Battalion near Corio. Returning to active duty after a year of reconstructive surgery and rehab, he was reportedly approached by representatives of the Mani Domini, but declined an offer to join their ranks. While his division remained in desperate need of troops, in 3073 Cameron St. Germain personally rewarded him for his devotion to the Word with a commission to command the 7th Division. His fresh-from-the-factory Deva Omnimech, also awarded by the Word's Presenter Marshal, has been featured prominently in many propaganda vids, showing him leading his troops on a goodwill tour of several recently fortified Protectorate worlds, including Ko, Zollikofen, and Lipton. So the Deva is a 70-tonner. Its chassis is the Celestial Series DV-1E. Its power plant is the Inspiration 280 Light Fusion engine. It gives it a cruise speed of 43 kph and a maximum speed of 64 kph with no jump capacity. Its armour is the Duralex Divine Protector. Armament is 29.5 tons of pod space. It's manufactured by Gibson Federated Battle Mechs and Martinson Armaments. Gibson for Gibson Federated, and Martinson is based on Terra. Communication system is the Master's Voice Cell Alpha, and the TNT is Master Sight 1 Omega. Now, we've talked about the Master Sight 1 previously in one of my holocasts back in the day, but the Omega system is something of a mystery, a bit of a sort of maybe considered a bit of a boogeyman in the targeting and tracking system community. It's believed to have a few extra bells and whistles to it that other systems weren't privy to back in the day. Possibly something to do specifically with the Mani Domini. No one's really sure. Some people just say that it was just a slight modification that just gave it the Omega designation, because that was part of the whole Blakeists naming system, trying to make everything sound at least faintly religious in some form or another. Still, it's a much sought after piece. A couple of apparently private collections do have them available, including those held by things like Gunnar Harkson, the madman from Sweden, who apparently has quite a collection himself and has spent no shortage of a few fortunes and sea bills to obtain certain things. He jealously guards them, and many of us have asked him politely over the years if we could have a look at his very impressive collection, and he always turns us down, usually with a short balk and a no, and then he's gone. Maybe one day we'll be able to see such a thing. Others think he's a liar, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. That's much as what I'll say. But anyway, as far as the stats are concerned, this is a mech that has a walk of 4 and a run of 6. It has 11 double heat sinks for 22 dissipation. It has armor of 9 on the head, 33 on the CT with 10 on the rear, 20 on the side torsos with 10 on the rear, 22 on the arms and 30 on the legs. Pretty generous amount of armor overall across the machine. Can take several pretty solid hits before having to worry about those internal hits, which isn't bad. Its Omnimech status leaves obviously several variants. We have the Prime, then an A, B, C, D, and finally an E variant. The primary configuration is a right arm mounted Gauss rifle with 8 rounds of ammunition in the right arm, a light PPC in the right torso. That torso is protected by case, which is an interesting decision, considering Gauss ammo doesn't explode, but a retractable blade in the left arm for some hand-to-hand combat, and then it has another light PPC in the head and one in the left torso. So a big emphasis on the primary version being a bit of a ranged fighter more than anything else. The light PPCs combined don't generate a hell of a lot of heat, do a decent amount of damage over range, and the Gauss rifle is going to hurt, but those 8 rounds of fire, it isn't a lot of ammunition, so it's definitely more of a kind of a harasser build, I think the primary one is, when it's working with Grigori's. The alpha configuration is a very different setup. We have an MML7 in the right arm with a targeting computer in the right torso and 2 ER medium lasers. It's then backed up by a left arm mounted rotary AC5 and an ER small. It has 60 rounds of ammo for the rotary and its MML ammunition in the left torso. Case also existing there, and finally it has a 8 light PPC in the head. So that one's a bit of an all-rounder. It can engage with all different ammo types. It's got obviously the capability of being able to stay in the fight with its light PPC if ammo starts to run low, and it's got a few lasers to back it up. Not too bad. It can engage infantry, armor, mechs, that kind of thing. Not too bad. Dog's body build, basically. The B configuration is a bit more of a high heat heavy hitter. This has a ER PPC in the right arm with an extra double heatsink, 2 more double heatsinks in the right torso, an ER PPC in the left arm for that symmetry, a targeting computer in the left arm to increase the chance to hit, and then it has another pair of double heatsinks in the left torso, and finally 2 medium pulse lasers in the head, rounded out with a CT-mounted Guardian ECM suite. So this one obviously probably works best in the formation, providing that ECM protection to itself and the rest of its team, with the ER PPCs capable of hitting targets at range as it moves with the rest of the unit, and when fights do get up close and personal, it's got those medium pulse lasers to guarantee a few extra hits while it's bleeding off heat from those ER PPCs. The C configuration, also known as the Commonus. I should also note, yes, that each of these have a name. The primary is called the Invictus, the Alpha is called the Dominus, the B version is called the Infernus, the C version is the Commonus, the Delta version is the Luminous, and the E version is the Eminus. But the C variant is, this is a killer. This is an Ultra AC-20 with a split right arm, right torso crit location. It has a jump jet in the right torso with a double heatsink. The left arm has a double heatsink with 3 ER medium lasers. Another jump jet in the left torso. It has 15 rounds of ammunition for the Ultra, and then it has case in the left torso, and split in the left torso rear we have a ER small to protect against infantry that might be attacking, a Guardian ECM in the head, and finally 2 jump jets in the CT. I would say this is a bit more of a urban combatant mixed with a bit of execution style gameplay in that one, in that it will hop over a building, it'll hit something with its Ultra 20, finish it off with the lasers, or it will go over to heavier, maybe damaged assault mechs, and it will engage them to take them out with the Ultra 20, basically. Bit like the Hunchback. The Delta variant, or Luminos, is a heavy PPC in the right arm with a double heatsink, 2 jump jets in the right torso, a medium pulse laser, and another double heatsink. Then the left arm has a double heatsink, 2 ER medium lasers, and another double heatsink, backed by a medium pulse laser in the left torso, 2 more jump jets, and then the head has 2 more medium pulse lasers, and in the rear CT it has an ER medium and an ER small. Not quite sure what to make of this version. Definitely going for the all energy loadout to make sure it can stay in the fight longer. Probably just a bit more of a brawler build in that one. Not much range, but a lot of heat, extra heat dissipation in there. And the E version, to round out this relatively long video at this point, sorry, is a double heatsink in the right arm, 2 ER mediums in the right torso, a light PPC in the right torso, a Thunderbolt 15 in the left arm with 8 rounds of ammunition in the same location, another light PPC in the left torso with an extra double heatsink and case, and finally, head-mounted light PPC and CT-mounted light PPC. So we're going back to the light PPC, where it can obviously harass, do a bit of damage, not too much, but it's not going to overheat itself anytime soon, so it can stay in the fight for extended periods, and then it's got that Thunderbolt 15 to guarantee a nice punch of damage, with the 2 ER mediums probably just acting as backup weapons, or desperation shots if it's needed, if something gets a bit too close. Not too bad, definitely more in my wheelhouse of builds, I would say. Overall, not a bad mech, much like we said about its cousin the Grigori. This one actually looks a bit more like a battle mech compared to some of the other more outlandish designs out there for some of the wobby stuff. And certainly looks better than our next mech, which in the next LoreWarrior, because trust me, that thing looks friggin' ugly. I don't mind this thing, it looks okay. You definitely could see it loping about the field. Maybe I'd extend the leg height a little bit so it doesn't look like it would be a bit unbalanced. Sometimes it's hard to see it moving when it's got its legs so small and the body's a bit too big, but other than that, it's not too bad. It's okay. The builds are good, but a 70-ton Omnimech should have a lot of good build options available to it. And the other good thing about Omnimechs is, yeah, they can be configured for pretty much any kind of combat role you need. So yeah, not too bad. The write-up's a bit bland, though I do like the idea of it being built as a buddy to something like the Grigori, as it mentioned, the hammer and the anvil, or classic combinations, obviously like Wasp and Stinger, Marauder and Warhammer, that kind of thing. So yeah, Rifleman Archer, for instance. So yeah, it's a nice touch. At least they kept the tradition going of the the brothers on the battlefield type thing. So I'll leave it there though. Have a good one all. Thanks for listening as always. I'll catch you next time. Bye.